One is ready. Let's see how our players do today. Cat taking a decisive 3-1 advantage off the initial set of 4 games. See who has a comeback in them. Going into round number 5, I guess we would call this. So our participants are still DT, Vatscar, Ryak, and Cat, and I am Blues casting with Nahi.
Hello.
This game will load eventually, and then I can tell you about the location and the map. Okay, so we are on Io, off to a good start. We have a power colony and a bunch of high prices. What do you see about the map?
Well, I'm looking for some good place to put down oxygen, and I do not see good places. So I guess people will have to ship them after all.
Yeah, this map seems pretty depressing. Like, there's a huge field of aluminum in the north, and that's where all the ice is. Everything else that you could possibly want is in the south.
And one thing people should also worry about is that we have very high starting power and also power colony on IO.
There's a
Which
potential.
means we are going to see some power play in the HQ2 possibly.
Yeah, might be interested to see like a scientific push into the early nuclear, but steel is starting double, so that's maybe not an option. Potentially interesting found is the scavenger right in the middle with the cave off of the medium carbon. There's not much else around it, but it is at least somewhat close to the ice, but none of our players went with that. There are a lot of expansives instead, and a lot of basalt into steel.
Triple expensive and one elite founding. We are going to see some pleasure dome actions from the elite. Sadly for them, we don't have adrenaline boost in the market, and that's also happy news for expensives.
Yep, and it looks like DT might be able to get an advantage off of this HQ1. He's the only one that went into a decent amount of iron. Everyone else is producing at a bit of a deficit. He's trying to scrape together that steel, that expensive steel, while DT just gets to profit off of this $60 iron.
Everyone went into steel, and DT went into even more steel, making 5 steel mills. And power is rising fast, 145. It makes me think that maybe HQ1 power play would have been viable for some players.
It definitely could have been. Would have been a bit slow getting off the round, but the players are being a bit slow to move on anyway. Well, Cat is moving into a ton of aluminum now. Aluminum's cheap, so it's not doing a lot, but it's also just a quick, easy building to put down. Definitely looking to see who is actually going to get into power first. With a bunch of expansives, there are a lot of people who have reasonably easy paths into nuclear or geotherms, and we see DT has a nice line of nuclear set up.
With a goon. I expect that the first black market against this one is going to be slowdown strikes because people have seen that there's a goon bot on the board.
Make a lot of sense. Cat is moving into a lot of power herself, a pair of nuclear and a pair of solar panels. Ryak only has the single solar panel down, kind of struggling to get anything else, and actually deletes the solar panel. And
solar panels, it's probably not good timing for a lot of solar panels because when does the night start on IO? It's so very confusing.
Yeah, right now.
It's just night now, yeah.
36, apparently. Yeah, so Cat having this triple solar panel isn't really going to kick in for a bit, but that's okay. Still has the 2 nuclear plants chugging along. Doesn't really compare to DT's 3 nuke plants that have gotten him out of debt, gotten him some money, gotten up to HQ3. Nice
Still
early
making
lead.
2.8.
Yeah, that freeze is fairly ineffective. Also going to be moving into ion collectors now. That fuel price has been just creeping up steadily, and it makes sense to put them down while carbon is not crazy yet. So patent lab.
The triple solar panels Katrina went into did not make much benefit, and they got rotated into steel mill because this night is longer than that of Mars. You cannot waste this tile sitting as doing nothing.
Right, would have been sitting there for something like 14 hours, so 84 seconds or so. And especially with this solar frost that just came down, that would have been brutal. So it's good that she got out of it before that all happened. But a bit of wasted resources.
9 pattern left for on that tacticus. He can, yeah, there's nothing much he can do. Like, look at this very slow in Suffer Frost and slow down strike.
Yeah, a nice 30% construction speed, or 20%. So, you know, 200 seconds if it was from the start. He is going for superconductor. That's going to come down a lot later than he would have liked, but power might still be reasonably high when that happens. One thing I'm interested in is that no player has moved into a pleasure dome yet. As you pointed out earlier, pleasure domes will be excellent. Cat does have the first claim for a pleasure dome.
Yeah. 220 without adjacency is going to be great for the people. But it's also a great target for dynamite, so I'm expecting that it will come down with a goon.
Definitely. Cat also moving into just a lot of ice already. That's an interesting move. What do you think about it?
Well, ice is not exactly like high production building, counting the nights, but at least the day is going to last for some time. But triple seems to be a bit of a overcommitment to me, because you cannot use this ice to process it into something more valuable. So you just need to sell it or launch it, but launching is not an option at this point. So I think I would have invested on other tiles.
Yeah, and there's definitely a bit of hindsight bias for me going in there, but with the shortage on glass now, then that feels even more like a market that's kind of a missed opportunity.
Nevertheless, it's making 137 per tile currently, and that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. 36k for this claim. DT more or less giving up on his power money for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Even through this power shortage is an interesting decision. I guess, I mean, I don't know. I feel like 36k is more than I'd want to pay in cash.
Well, the power seems to be under control, going down, and it will go super down after this superconductor in 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. And I guess the downside to not taking the auction would just mean that he's accumulating that much more cash, looking that much more threatening, and maybe just attracts that much more black market attention.
First person of the game, making 300 per second, but already spied by DT. And he is under 5 seconds cooldown. Let's see what will happen on this pleasure dome.
Yeah, he'll be very happy to. Well, he picked up a slowdown strike instead, so that's something.
Mm-hmm.
I was really expecting the dynamite to come down, especially since he's building his own pleasure dome. Just a nice big swing in income. I guess he's more interested in securing his patents. Goes ahead and slows down. Cat's.
He just got his new dynamite.
Oof. That hurts for Cat.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, Scar has been off in his little corner, getting up to HQ level 4. He's going to be the first player in chems, I believe. Chems are going to be an excellent market with all... Oh, DT's also in chems. But yeah. Scar is building a pleasure dome of his own right next to his base. Maybe that can be successfully hidden. Optimization center is a fine thing to hide it as. Although I guess that's also a target, and it...
Yeah. I would want to hit Elite Optimization Center as soon as possible.
Yeah. Scar definitely has this cooldown available. He can drop a Goon Squad on it, he really should. Other thing Scar has to worry about is his debts. that is starting to be a problem at 125k seed debt. And he's not going to be able to produce food for a little bit longer, at least not easily. So that's going to be a lot of debt accrued. Also moving to a patent lab at the colony. It's going to get a slight bonus in speed, but... I guess we saw last time that Scar was rather fond of colony offworlds, so this might be a play into eventual space elevator here with the 2 adjacency.
Transparent aluminum, claimed by Katrina. It's a timely one for her because she's still at HQ3 and the glass price is not too cheap.
Definitely. Okay, so DT is in some optimizations now. Or not yet, he's building an optimization center. That's definitely going to be really useful. Prices have gone kinda nuts. $360 food, almost $300 oxygen, all before any elevators come down or anything. Yeah, whatever.
Ryak is getting into 4 food without supporting. I guess it does produce 3, but it's just that it's auto off due to this insane oxygen price.
Yeah, and that's not really gonna get better, that situation. So the food will be good for a while, and it's certainly nice that Ryak will be able to get that profit before other people can, but definitely want to see the optimization centers or something come down to support all this.
Yeah, in this game it looks like a HQ4 optimization center would have been very beneficial for all these players. But we have only seen optimization center from DT, and it's been running quite a while, I think. No, it has no research yet.
Right, yeah. Just building it at the colony taking a while longer for it to actually get running. But yeah, definitely in this sort of situation with so many high prices, there's just so much money that running the optimization center isn't really a problem. Cat is still kind of struggling to catch up a bit, although she is fairly even with Ryak just behind the other 2. An early bounce dynamite and the solar panel transition really slowing her down a lot.
So I would say that that Scar's not more ahead than Cat because of this stat amount.
That is a fair argument. I do still think Scar is in a very good position, at least once this optimization center starts running. Just this extra little speed bonus there should do a lot to push.
It's nicely hidden behind the HQ. People might just miss it because it's not easy to see it.
Yeah, the Elite HQ has a real funny shape that makes it hard to find things. How have patents actually been going? So, Scar has only actually gotten synthetic meat, hasn't licensed anything yet. Going for the financial instruments next, which with 2 players in C-Dead should pay off somewhat, but it is a bit of a curious decision when things like virtual reality are still available for him.
At least they timed it so that it's not after the day change.
Yeah, always a nice little thing. I can't say I've ever actually paid attention to that.
It's sad when you just get the pattern after that tick.
Right, so somehow steel has gotten up to $300. I guess that's off of 2 HQ5 upgrades from Cat and Ryak, and most people moving mostly out of steel. Ryak is now in a lot of steel. Scar is still in a bunch of steel. Yeah, Cat and DT are not in any. So that's going to be a lot of money over to those 2. But
DT? going into a massive aggression against everyone,
Yep.
buying empty stocks.
Everyone is in a ton of debt, so they're definitely vulnerable to that. That Scar in particular, I think just paid off 100k of debt to go from D+2 to just D. Not great.
Yeah, this DT's in a very, very strong position, was in the lead, and still go connecting this lead into some aggression.
He's a okay. Cat DT just honing in on Cat. I think probably realized fairly early on with everything that was Cat. Just having that Pleasure Dome spied out, just being ready for all that. I think he wanted to take her out very quickly.
Yeah.
Now that Scar and Ryak are fighting back from a really, really bad position.
They're not only fighting against DT, but also fighting against their own debt.
Yeah,
With
both.
this, a lot of tiles debt, auto off waters, very sad.
Both of them definitely have the infrastructure where they could eventually fight back, but DT's not going to give them anywhere near enough time. He should just sweep through this very quickly. Can already buy Ryak. And now we're just waiting on that Scar. And just a few stock cells could do that, take care of that, but there's no particular reason to rush it. Yeah, just really well done by DT. Burst into power. I think he founded fairly early too.
Yeah, this is the kind of scary place we can expect from DT, finding out its early lead and executing, like getting other players when he can.
Yep. You let a player like DT take an early edge, and you can't shut him down enough, he will just steamroll you.
Well played.
Yep, well played indeed. Are we recording these ranks somewhere? I don't think I have access to that spreadsheet if we are.
I might have it.
I should keep talking about the game in the meantime instead of scrolling through things. Alright, so just a quick look at Black Market. Cat and DT targeting each other pretty heavily. No big surprise there. A lot of power surges onto Cat. That kept her behind for a fair amount of the game. And yeah, DT knew exactly what he wanted. And he got it.